Kelly's Kitchen. Let me teach you a recipe and also make you feel really good about yourself.
Hi guys, how are you? Welcome to episode 7 of Kelly's Kitchen. It feels really good to be back in the kitchen. I have been inundated with schoolwork because of midterms, so I've been all over the place. Today though, we have a very unique episode. This is going to be the first ever experimental episode of Kelly's Kitchen. By experimental, I mean I am going to be making a recipe for the first time ever and seeing if it works today with you guys. So I came up with an idea of my own version of everyone's favorite snack and party food, literally everyone. I don't know anyone that doesn't like this. Hummus. You're going to make my own idea for a hummus. The ingredients I thought of randomly, but that is what experiments are for, and cooking is all about experimentation. So join me for this unique experimental episode of Kelly's Kitchen. Let's get started. Okay, so the ingredients we will need for this hopefully delicious hummus are chickpeas, which I think is obvious, a lemon. I was gonna say a yellow lemon because I'm so used to saying the colors, but not a purple lemon, not a green lemon, a yellow lemon. Just so you guys know, just to make it clear. A green pepper, 1 scallion, rosemary, and pesto. The topic for this video, I am not going to say now because I have asked for your help and I will reveal the topic later on. So let's get started. First, what we're going to want to do is open up our can of chickpeas and drain them. So once we open up our can of chickpeas and drain them, we're going to put them in a bowl like so. And what we're going to do is take off the skin. So all you're going to do is squeeze gently and you will see this outer shell come off. Blech, gross, right? And we're just going to toss that to the side on a plate. So grab an extra bowl to put all of your de-skinned chickpeas in. And honestly, you can make hummus without de-skinning the chickpeas. What I do usually is I'll do maybe half of them. The reason for de-skinning them is that it makes the hummus a lot creamier. So I'm going to de-skin as many of them as I can now, and then I will catch up with you guys when I'm done. Yo, look at this. Look at all these skins. That is disgusting. Yeah. That is what covers a chickpea. Isn't that crazy? So once we're done de-skinning the chickpeas, we're going to take our pepper and we're going to chop it up into little diced pieces like we always do until we have 1/4 cup of green peppers. So once we have our peppers in long thin slices like this, we're going to slice down the middle and just kind of start like dicing and chopping it up into little squares. Alright, so once we are done cutting up our pepper into little diced pieces and we have 1/4 cup, we're going to put it aside with our chickpeas. Now take your 1 scallion stem. You want a nice firm one like this. Make sure it's not wilted, and we're gonna chop this up just like so. My goal for this hummus was to kind of do something a bit more herb-based and stray away from all the spiciness. I'm hoping we could do something very flavorful with a lot of healthy herbs. Alright, so once your scallion is chopped like so, put it off to the side with the rest of the herbs. Now, rosemary isn't something that I've ever put in a hummus before, so this is going to be new for me. I know a lot of people put it right into the food processor, so what we're going to do is we're going to try that. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take our rosemary, and it's going to be on a sprig like this, see? And we're going to rip off the leaves and measure 2 tablespoons of this. Zozo's having nap time. This music's putting her to sleep. Alright, so it's going to look like this. We're just going to put this off to the side with our scallions. Guys, I don't know if this is going to work in the food processor, but we're going to try. I'm a little bit nervous, but we'll see what happens. We are going to move on to adding everything together. Hey, so before we put everything together for our hummus, let's have a chat. I reached out to you guys asking you to give me topics to talk about for my next video. I heard some really great suggestions, and one that really stuck out to me was not giving up no matter what and continuing to push forward. I think this is something that we all have to do if we want to survive and go after our dreams and have happy lives. And there's going to be times where life is going to throw you curveballs, and it's going to make it easy to not want to continue going on. So the question is, when these things happen to you that kind of smack you in the face and you kind of have to take a moment and be like, whoa, that's not what I thought was going to happen. Where do I go now? Do you just give up? Do you go in a completely new direction altogether? Is that a sign that maybe you were doing something wrong? How do you find the motivation and the drive to keep going? Because honestly, following your passion and your drive is really scary because it's something important to you. So if you have something you care deeply about that's important to you, that resonates with you, that lights you up and drives you and makes you the person that you are, it's going to be scary if something bad happens to that drive. If you have a setback that has to do with something so important to you, it's gonna hurt 10 times more than if you were pursuing something you didn't really care that much about. So does that mean you should go in a different direction? That's for you to decide. What I've learned in terms of really figuring that out is that you need to realize how to have a sense of self. Look inside yourself and think, what is it that drives me and what do I really want? What is the thing? Separate what that thing is from the outside sources, from the circumstances, from the letdowns, from the heartbreaks, from not getting that job, from the disappointments. Take all of those and physically, well, you know, in your mind, not like actually physically, separate them from the one thing that means the most to you. And then focus on that thing and think, how much do I want this thing? How important is this to me? Because you know what? You're never gonna lose that. No matter how many setbacks and demons and how much bull crap comes at you from all different directions and hits you, you're never gonna lose that passion for that thing. I know what it's like to let outside sources get in the way. And there were many times where I personally gave up on myself. I gave up on myself without even realizing that I gave up on myself. It happens because when we get hurt, we want to kind of crawl into a shell. And the reason we want to do that is because we don't want to get hurt. We don't want to feel that hurt. We don't want to feel that pain. Who the hell wants to feel that? Who wants to deal with that? Sometimes we get tired and we don't want to fight anymore, and we kind of just take the path that's easier because it's too much. Sometimes it's just too much for some people, and that's okay. But if you're someone who doesn't want to give up and doesn't want to let that passion go, don't let it go. Just sit there and remind yourself what it is, even if you have to verbally remind yourself. There are some times when I literally look in the mirror and I say, you could do this, you got this, Kelly, you could do this, or you're great, you're a beautiful person, you deserve to be here. Because when I feel like I'm getting veered off track or discouraged, I remind myself that I can go back to square one and start over. I could separate those things from what is more important. That passion and that drive and that love and whatever it is, I'm speaking a big spectrum here. Anything that's important to you, you have it within you because it was important to you at one time. You can get it back. All those things that are going to hit you from other angles and scare you and make you have to change your direction a little bit, it's not going to completely affect you from reaching your goal or your dream. You're just going to have to tweak some things, reevaluate it a little bit. It doesn't mean that it's not reachable. It doesn't. I'm still making these videos because I like to, and I hope that I make some people happy and feel better. If 1 or 2 people watch them and it makes them, you know, feel encouraged, then hey, I'll be happy. That's all I want. You don't have to give up on something just because of things coming at you from all angles. I know it's scary, but I'm telling you, if you can sit with yourself and keep that sense of self and that drive and know what that is, have that awareness, you are ahead of the game no matter what happens. And you'll always have that within you. It's true. So don't give up. Keep pushing forward. It's hard. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna suck. But we're human. We have to do it. We don't have a choice. Plus, we can all struggle together. And then, when we all reach our rewards, we could celebrate together. Thank you so much for giving me topics. I'm going to expand on some of your other suggestions for the next video, and I would love to keep hearing from you guys, because that's what's most important to me. Alright, so it is time to mix everything up, and we're going to put everything into my food processor, welcome back, to make our hummus. So we are going to put our chickpeas right in as our first ingredient. Things just got real classy in here. So now it is time to add the spices. We are going to take a half tablespoon of freshly squeezed lemon juice. Then we are going to do a half a tablespoon of pesto. It's delicious, used in most Italian dishes. I figured it would bring a really wonderful flavor. And this is good because it already has some olive oil in it, and olive oil is a pretty important ingredient in making a hummus. So speaking of olive oil, let's do that right now. So let's put in a tablespoon of olive oil. I know that sounds like an insane amount, but trust me, we're gonna need it. After the olive oil, we are going to add our 1/4 cup of peppers. So before we add anything else, let's mix this up and see how creamy we can get the consistency. So we're gonna pulse it a few times. It's definitely nowhere near being a hummus consistency, so let's add 1 more tablespoon of olive oil. Let's just go in and put in the rest of our veggies. Or should I say herbs? So take your scallions and your rosemary, dump them right on top. Honestly, I'm just holding it down and letting it do its thing right now, and it looks like it's definitely turning into a hummus. I'm getting excited. So let's take this time to add the rest of our flavors. 1/2 teaspoon of cumin. Then we're gonna do 1/4 teaspoon of garlic salt. I'm honestly gonna put a little bit more pesto in here for good luck. So maybe about like 1/4 teaspoon of pesto. Drizzle a little bit more olive oil on there because it's still a little dry. And let's make that, actually, instead of 1/4 teaspoon of garlic salt, let's do 1/2 teaspoon. It's all trial and error, guys. Look at that consistency. It definitely looks like a hummus. So now the only thing left to do, obviously, is taste test it. So let's see. Honestly, that is not bad. I think it could use a little bit more salt, to be honest, so let's put a little bit more salt in there. So I'm actually gonna add 1/2 teaspoon of just normal salt. I needed the salt. It's perfect with the salt. All right, so we have made our hummus. Let's put it in a bowl. So I put it in a bowl. I put a little bit of extra pesto and lemon juice on top to make it look fancy. And now I'm gonna put it in the fridge for about a 1/2 hour to an hour, maybe an hour to be safe. And we will see how it tastes once it's chilled. Okay, so here is our finished hummus. Looks pretty good. And we have my dad here as our taste tester. Okay.
Hello, everyone.
All right, thank you for agreeing to do this, Dad. So we're gonna have my dad try it and see if it's a flop or successful. Okay, Dad, go ahead.
Should I stir it first or just...
It looks pretty good to me. It looks pretty stirred. Tell me what
dig
you think.
in.
Just dig in. We don't have pita or anything fancy today, but... This is a last-minute recipe. What do you think? Moment of truth.
Wow, very good.
Really?
Excellent.
He's just saying it because it's on camera.
No, I'm not.
All right, let me try. You think it's good, though?
It's delicious.
It's like herby, right?
Yes.
Awesome.
It's very hummusy.
Well, it's hummusy, so it must be a success if our hummus is hummusy. So, yay, okay. It was a success. That's it for Kelly's Kitchen, episode 7. Thank our special guest here, and I will see you guys next time.